This video is primarily for any people who are MAGA and might come across my video. And if you are not that, if you wouldn't mind sharing this, commenting, get it out there so maybe some of them can see it. Donald Trump is admitting his guilt to you in real time, right before your eyes. But you just have to listen.
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review, but they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Do you guys remember that? The Attorney General put out a memo back in July detailing what they found after their exhaustive review. Here's an excerpt from that memo. The systematic review revealed no incriminating, quote, client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. In other words, according to the memo released back in July, the Attorney General said that there was no credible evidence that would warrant an investigation or indictment of anybody who has not already been charged. So remember that, and let's see what Donald Trump and Pam Bondi just tweeted yesterday. Trump put out on Truth Social that he wants an investigation into any and all Democrats linked to these files that may warrant investigating or an indictment. To which Pam Bondi says, yes, sir, right away, Mr. President, sir. We're going to assign SDNY U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton to it. One of the best. Well, now wait a minute. Were you lying in July when you said that the exhaustive review turned up no evidence that would warrant any investigation or indictments of third parties? Or will you be lying in the future when you say, yes, we've linked this person and this person and this person to these files, to this investigation, so we're going to investigate them and indict them on charges? Now you might be asking, how does this prove that Donald Trump is admitting his guilt? Because the only reason Donald Trump is asking for these new investigations on a case that the Attorney General and the FBI both said is case closed is so that these open investigations can give cover to the DOJ to say, I'm sorry, it doesn't really matter how the House and the Senate voted. We cannot release these documents because they're part of an ongoing investigation. He is admitting his guilt under the cover of justice, with every action that he takes to either delay or prevent altogether these files from getting out. Nobody who is innocent of something works this hard to prevent evidence that would supposedly clear their name from getting out. Nobody. Now, will his strategy work? Will this onslaught of new investigations into something that he every day calls a hoax, by the way, give enough cover to the DOJ to say, I'm sorry, I don't care how Congress voted. We don't release information, documents pertaining to ongoing investigations. We just don't. I don't know. It might work. We need overwhelming numbers in the House and in the Senate to vote in the affirmative for releasing these files. And that's where we come into play. I don't care if you call. I don't care if you write. I don't care if you email, tweet, Instagram, Facebook. Get in touch with your senators. Get in touch with your representatives, and you let them know that their re-election in the upcoming midterms, specifically the representatives, depend on how they act now. If we can get these overwhelming votes in the House and the Senate by the people that we send to represent us, the American people, left and right, both of whom want to see these files released, it might be enough political pressure on the DOJ to release what they have. But I don't know. It might not. It might not be enough. But one thing I know for sure, if we do absolutely nothing, the least desirable outcome becomes the most likely.